Okay, so today we will be talking on the property sector. So do share this video in your timeline, really appreciate, and what are the stocks to watch out for. And of course, we will use our smart Roble, which our smart money analysis ready to trade to really help you in here. We want to show you the Roble power of fundamental analysis and to show you how to beat the market. In today, we want to help you analyze the shares, and definitely we have 3 shares: MKH, Muda, Maju Perak, and Echo World. All right. Definitely right now, 3 shares we are looking right now are MKH. We all know what the MKH is, right? It is Metro Kajang, and you can see it is one of the best rated compared to the other 2. This has a 2 rating, this has a 3 rating. Now for Roble FA rating, best is 8. We recommend you to invest at 3 and above, 3 and above, 3 and above. So right now MK Lane, it seems to be, but we all know MK Lane has run out a lot. The return of equity is only 5, but a PE of 12. Okay, right now it's considered to be overpriced and it's overvalued too. So, but it still have a decent PE, partly because of the dividend that we see over there. Having said that, but let's look at the next stock. Is this Maju Perak. Maju Perak is actually losing money. You can see that, right? So not so good, isn't it? Losing money, you can't even calculate intrinsic value. And then we have Echo World, which is also very low return on PE, which is only 4% compared to MKH of 5%, but it doesn't pay dividend. At least Metro Kajang pay dividend, and that's why Roble give it a 3 out of 8 ratings in there. But in terms of price, you can see Maju has 38 cents and Echo World is trading at 71. Most expensive one is Metro Kajang. Let's look at the next slide, shall we? If you look at the next slide using the TradeVSA Pentagon under the stock command Roble, you can see MKH is making 37% since the last green Pentagon, almost in October. If you had it in October, you could have possibly made about 37% return by just following Pentagon guidance in the stock uptrend. So it really paid dividend to follow an uptrend if you don't have a system. And also a premium fact too, MKH using green Pentagon guide since 16th of July 2000 has an accuracy of 80%, which means every time if you follow green Pentagon, there is a good chance of getting 80% it right. Okay, that's for MKH. Now Muda Jaya, okay, here you have a possibility of a pullback re-entry. See Roble for re-entry in here. So this is a good chance if you're interested in Maju Perak. And Echo World right now is in orange bearish trend zone, so that's not good to buy, isn't it? Because it already turned orange. So you want to wait for it to turn green Pentagon like we see here early on in the market goes up. That's how we want to be using the buy and sell signal of Pentagon to help us to time. Now, how many of you have property stocks in your 2009 investment? If you have, just give me a thumbs up. And how well did it fare? So today we're just going to give you a good breakdown of what's to expect in the property sector, both looking in the fundamental, the news, the technicals, and what are the 3 stocks we are looking right now. I think that's very important too. So please do follow us in this TradeVSA and also a live Facebook to get more updates. All right. Now, definitely not to forget is to join our TradeVSA Telegram group. Do share this link so not only you will benefit from our hourly alerts, also on fundamental and technical, and we have a very comprehensive strategy that will suit you for year 2020. Make sure you join us out there. Definitely, of course, is our YouTube TradeVSA in here, where we will have all our up-to-date sector breakdown for you, so you're able to follow it together with Roble that is there really to help you to analyze stocks both from fundamental and technical side of it. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and not to be missed. Now, definitely what has happened is the recent surge in the Malaysian property stocks. So this is as early back in November when we see the stocks made up. I'm going to show you the chart after that. There have been a lot of talks that property had a bad fall after the G14 when the Pakatan Harapan came in, and it has changed the entire landscape of it. But not only that, if you look at the worldwide, property has been undergoing gluts. What does it mean? It means there is oversupply of everywhere, and the low interest regime has given up to a lot of property that is being built, not only in Malaysia, but also in the region, Singapore, Australia and Thailand. There's overflow. And recently, the surge in the clamping down of the Chinese investments the last 1 or 2 years has really slowed down the property prices. And you have seen even in Cambodia, there were talks about how property prices, which is way above the earnings of most people, there is a ratio that we use, which is the earnings over affordability, and which is more than 5 times to 7 times, depending on which city you live, that people can really afford it. So right now we are seeing this. Don't trust the Malaysian property stock. Is there any truth to it? So I'm going to present the facts to you. You be charged to that. All right. So definitely then, we have 2 really good news that really proceed after that is the ECRL. And a lot of the property stock really move in anticipation of the ECRL, which is the East Coast Railway Link, all the way from Kota Bharu to Port Klang. It actually bypassed the Kuala Lumpur, and that's why it was cheaper by 20 over billion. So as such that people say that, the ECRL traditionally were supposed to pass by Kuala Lumpur. Now it has sort of skipped through, that they don't have to do the tunneling. That's why it is cheaper. I think it will pass by somewhere around Sepang when I last looked at the report that they had. So would that affect those properties? Some of them would definitely be benefit, but not forgetting the next one is Bandar Malaysia, which is actually a hub to draw global multinational, and that will be at the old Sungai Besi airport. That it will be the HSR project, high-speed railway. So 2 railway projects will really drive this country going forward, and that's what we are hoping, the ECRL and the Bandar Malaysia, to drive the kind of property that is built around it. Definitely your local player is IWC, and has that run over yet? We will look at that. If you don't, use smart Roble and see what smart Roble have to say about in terms of technicals and fundamental, using the Pentagon Guider as a timing, buying and selling in there. All right. So also, this is just, I think today it just came out on the news that slower recovery for property sectors in 2020, and that is a warning that was given by Afin Huang. So there's a lot of analysts and there's a lot of people really telling, if I read the news in here, the core earnings, the EPS earning for many of this so-called property market is going to be generally weak, because the take-up rates, the loan that is giving now is going to really slow down. So it remains really a challenge. And you do see some of the weekends when you go on property or newspaper, you can see there's a really big drive incentive to get people to really buy property. In other aspect, it's really a buyer's market where you can choose to be really picky about it. And also the home ownership campaign, which is run by our government, waiving a lot of duty fee, does try to attract a lot of these first-time buyer. I think there is a still market to the first-time buyer, but I do believe we won't see the kind of what we saw in 2012 and 2013, which is 5-6 years ago. And the recent budget 2020, where the local government minister Zuraida Kamarudin also announced the foreigner able to buy the 600,000 condominium and apartments, that also spurs a lot of movement into that. Have we seen some of those purchase yet? Not, but definitely we all know, right? When the stock market comes, people tend to move faster than the actual buy on rumors and sell on facts. So that's why it's important to really understand the charts. Is important because news move much faster. By the time you really sit down and do the analytics, you'll be really slow. All right. Now, then there's other news which come out. Now, we have seen the bad news and all the so, but the export business will recover in 2020. So that gives why we have a headline of a slower growth. If you looked at the issues that we are seeing, that Malaysia will still continue to grow, maybe slower at 0.1% compared to 4.6 that we registered 2019. 4.5 to 4.3, what's the difference? 0.2. That is on the back of a global rate. But one thing we do know, the US-China trade war slowing down, that will give a spurs into the China growth, and then we'll see maybe more pickup on the property. Right now, we are seeing people who's really buying the mainland China. If you have isolated cases, that's always been, but there is still pockets of growth going forward. Okay, we do see the year-to-date foreign funds are coming in, and it's one of the second highest in Asia. You see that in 2017 we have a very good year. We saw the foreign fund coming. 2018 was the worst, and we have seen minus 11 million really outflow in 2018. Let me just bring out my my laser pointer, so you can see this was where the low, and we really came from a low base. That is why I do believe we are coming from a very low base. 2020, in my opinion, should be a very good year going forward with that one, and we will see more people buying and spending, and that's why you're coming at a low. Now we are right at the second week of January only, okay, and you can see when we came from 2015, which is minus 19 and minus 9, and we hit high here. That's a little bit of upside, but definitely the announcement of the date. What date are we talking about? The transition between the old Prime Minister to the new Prime Minister. That is important, and that's correct. To my opinion, I've been talking to a lot of my clients and to also my members. That has to happen, and if that date happens, then a lot of people, foreign funds, are able to do the planning. When will the transition mean? Because they expect new policies, which is investor friendly, FDI friendly, will come in, and as we'll see more foreign funds coming. So one of the things that's also good is the strengthening of the ringgit to the US dollar, which means now we are getting more about 4.04. Now just compared to the last week of December, we have something like 4.09, now it's 4.04, slightly better, less than 3% growth. So that's really good for our Malaysian going forward. Now if you look from the property index that you have over here, you can see we came down from a very low base somewhere in September. Those news I've showed you earlier on the 3 or 4 slides ago was in September, and then the Bandar Malaysia slides came out, the ECRL slides came out, and that's what we have a big move, almost 9% here. This 9% move, they went from 760, has gone up to around 835, the property index, and going forward we have very little upside, which is about only 4.8% upside, to the old support, which is around the 865, 870 level in here. However, there are many other stocks in the property sector, and that's why we really recommend you to use the TradeVSA property screener for that. But if you don't that, you can use Roble. I'm going to share with you 3 stocks that has done pretty well, and I think it's worthwhile to really watch them too. All right, so property, not much of the upside, just around 4.8% upside. That's now giving it a little bit room up to 875, and going forward, will it go any higher beyond 900? I doubt it. But technology, so check out the technology sector on the previous talk that I talked about. They are still valid until now, but I'll also update in the later future on our coming Wednesday live FP2. So going next to our slide here, currently what we do see in terms of our Bursa sector analysis, again, this is also on Roble. Just type sector analysis, you're able to see inside Roble, the plantation sector has become the 3rd leader for so far, most bullish, of course, being plantation, energy, property, followed by technology. They are the 3rd leader in January 2020. Now this is quite important from the date on the last date. We have the KLSC sector industrial screener for 3rd most bullish plantation in here. And you can see right now we have Tiger, MJ, Perak, and Peacock. These are generally the most bullish shares, which actually move up a fair bit in here. MKH, PLB Engineering, then these are all our property sector in here, and the whole list goes on. Of course, you can look at Echo first and also IWC. So again, looking at the Pentagon Guider for the buy and sell signal, install Roble and make sure you download the Telegram apps, you're able to access it. And give me your feedback if you have made money or whatever you want improvement to support at TradeVSA.com. So we really appreciate that you can do that, and that will be good. Hi, Rafiq. All right. So this is our industrial screener in here. Now to use our screener in here, definitely we want you to learn how to use the color coded. The more red that you see, avoid it. And one way to do that is to click on the long-term screener in here. You'll see the most bullish one will really float to the top, and then you look for the screener. Now, of course, the plan here is to use the color-coded one, green, purple, or all green. That's very ideal. That's what we call it the 5-star. Okay, these are the 5s, and this is where we talk about it's like a galloping horse. The trade can really move up. 5-star, 5-star, 4-star, 4-star, and 3-star. This is the one that you really want to be buying, and that's if you go back to here. So this is where we are using. We make it so simple for you to choose this kind of stock. But if you are really not keen, then use our premium alert or our Roble fundamental analysis. Now, how can Roble help you to confirm a daily report or analyst report that they normally give? And this is a very good example where we see BIB. It talks about to buy, and there's a target price at 510. So type it in, and this was at a similar time, 4th of December in here, where you type the fundamental for the Bank Islam, and it actually tells you the ratings. Okay, it will tell you the ratings in here, whether it is not good or not, and there is also what we call a target price, 4 ringgit 57 at 10.5 times PE, and this is actually at 510. So there is a potential of about 8.3%. I do think BNB since December has moved up a fair bit already. And notice for February intake 2020, February 15 to 17, do ensure you attend our masterclass. For that date, 15 or 17, do contact our support, and we have a family package for you. Those of you who want to learn more about how our TradeVSA signal or generate, do attend it, and we have a free receipt program too. Now, also looking at the GDP growth, okay, we talk about the construction and property is one of the biggest contributor to our Malaysian country economy on top of agriculture, we all know, all right, which is plantation, right? And then we have the so-called mining and quarrying, that's more oil and refinery, but the services, right, and the manufacturing, which is very important, the double E, electrical and electronics engineering. Nevertheless, property remain to be a sector that is important. That's why the governments are going ahead with the ECRF project and also the HSS high-speed railway projects. Now, 4 reasons why investors should trade short-term. Having said that, the outlook for property sector isn't that rosy, and I don't think anyone should go in and buy and hold a certain stock. It's remained to be a really short-term trading, and here are the 4 reasons which I still think. No doubt the market intends to continue to recover, but the private consumption in Malaysia may still be weak due to the rising costs and also inflation, which is the government is really tackling. And there is also fear that of a rising interest rate due to the stronger US economy. Now, like it or not, US economy does give a lot of, US economy with its interest rate going up or down does give a barometer, whereas all the country is going in. Now, we have seen that last year when the US decided to cut interest rate, and we saw many countries, including the regional like Thailand, they all cut interest rate. Malaysia was the exception. They did have one rate cut, 25 basis points, but since then had stopped. And probably one of the reasons why they do stop the interest rate movement cut is because they felt that a lot of the retirees in Malaysia do rely on fixed deposit for their so-called retirement. So that is why in the interest of the senior citizen, that bank the government don't like to cut interest rate. But remember, every time when they raise interest rate or every time when they cut interest rate, right, the bank doesn't follow accordingly, is it? When they cut interest rate, they cut it very slow in your loans. That's why you don't really feel it. But when they raise interest rate overnight, they'll raise it. That's what bank does. Okay, I think we all know about that one. So I think you should also contact your bank. The last rate cuts that we have, make sure that is reflected in there. That is why bank shares don't do so well because of this lower interest rate cut. But when they cut their when they rise their interest rate, then you'll see banks do well, but property will take a hit. Why? Because a lot of people will have to pay more for their installment in there. And number three, I think it's also important, is the change in the lifestyle of new millennial, willing to renting and opt for a one purchase unit home, which is what we talk about the home campaign, home ownership campaign, where used to people buy 3 or 4 houses, now they probably can afford one, because the entry price level, it is so high. There are also very few affordable homes, and a lot of them are highly priced homes, so that's make it difficult people to buy. I mean, if you want to buy 500,000 in Klang Valley itself, somewhere in dominant area like Kuala Lumpur, Petaling Jaya, or even some parts of South Kuala Lumpur, you're going to be having a small 600 to 500 square feet with apartment, and that's what people are not willing to fork out the kind of money. If they want to have a landed property, then you're looking at somewhere further, maybe 20 to 30 kilometers away from Kuala Lumpur. And also, we do think that the correction in the property sector will last for another 4 to 5 years, and the market will turn around ultimately. So this property will still sort of stay stagnant, really at the low base, and will continue to be so, partly of, the economy. And we have seen that also in the Japan economy, that things hasn't turned around even after 20 years, and we expect the property will remain to be very, very soft for that purpose. Okay, let's move on. Now, so how do I find undervalued shares? Definitely, one of the things you can do is to install the stock market chatbot in your mobile phone, and it's free access for limited time. And that's where you can find your gems and use the sector, or when you come across any stocks that analyst is talking about, definitely in the age, check it out with Roble. Find your buy entry and your buy signal through Roble. And that's the way to do it. It's free for a limited time only. Okay. So right now it's free for all, and we would like you to feedback to us for some improvement in there, okay, and have a rewarding time with Roble. So that's, join us again. This is 2020. I said before we done our property sector. Happy New Year, and we will come back to you, all right, next week again for a new report on a sector that you like. If not, I'll pick up a good sector for you with the supper stocks to look.